Hey everybody, this week we are going to go through vinyl for David Coverdale. So we're going to talk Deep Purple, Solo, and Whitesnake. So let's get to it. Hey everybody, it's a snowman with TooLoudTooOldMusic.com. Welcome back to the collection. This week, I thought it was time to start talking about one of my favorite rock and roll singers, and that is David Coverdale. I got into him back on Whitesnake's Slide It In album, and then the next album, the self-titled one, the 1987 one, just that's clinched it all for me. And I've been collecting his stuff. And when I got back into vinyl, I really got into collecting anything Coverdale. So we're going to cover Deep Purple. We're going to cover his solo album. We're going to cover Coverdale Page and all the Whitesnake stuff that I have. I do stop at a certain point because when vinyl became very obscure for those late 90 releases in the early 2000s, I haven't really gone back and grabbed those with some exceptions. So we'll get to that. But we'll start off with the first time that I recall us ever hearing about David Coverdale, and that was with Deep Purple for the album Burn in 1974. Actually, I love the album cover with the candles burning. Really great idea. And this album, here's the little insert that comes with it that I still have. Definitely an early pressing for that one because you could see the ring wear on it. But the band, what an incredible lineup. Richie Blackmore, of course, John Lord, Ian Pace, Glenn Hughes, and David Coverdale. Just a killer album. And when you surround yourself with that kind of talent, I mean, you're going to have some good stuff on it. I want to say, is this the Mark III lineup, if I'm not mistaken? It's too bad they only had two albums. There are so many good songs on here. Of course, the title track, Burn. And I mean, reason he still opens some White Snake shows with that song. It's so freaking good. Might Just Take a Life, Lay Down, Stay Down, You Fool No One, and the brilliant Mistreated. Just David and that blues sound that they had with Purple was just incredible. So yeah, what a great way to kick off your career. I mean, with an album as strong as that one. And they didn't really take their foot off the gas. Stormbringer brings us the next one. Uh, really great album. This was 1974. Um, it's not quite as good as Burn, but definitely still has a lot of great stuff in there. Um, I don't think Richie Blackmore was very fond of the direction the album went and where the band was going, which is why I think he left after that. Um, but it needed more Ian Pace into it because it just didn't have enough of him, and there's not enough of John Lord. So I think Glenn and David kind of took the reins, it seems like. But those jam sessions, you need those jam sessions as well. That's what Deep Purple's all about. Title of it, Stormbringer, is great. Love Don't Mean a Thing, Hold On, Lady Double Dealer, and don't forget Gypsy is also another underrated song on there. It's a really good album. I just don't think it was as good as Burn, but still some great stuff on there. Then David and Deep Purple continued with this album Come Taste the Band from 1975. Got a nice gatefold here with this one with a lot of pictures of them. Um, this was the with Richie gone. They brought in Tommy Bolin on guitar. Great addition to the band. I think Glenn Hughes had much better songs on this one. David, of course, still is phenomenal. And it brought a lot of the excitement back, I think, for a lot of people. Even though this lineup didn't last, and this was the last one with Coverdale. But some of my favorite songs, the Glenn Hughes song "Getting Tighter" is really great. As far as David goes, "Coming Home," "Lady Luck," "Drifter." Oh, "Love Child" is also one of my favorites. it's worth checking out. That's the Mark IV version of Deep Purple, and it really is a good version of the band. It's just only one album that they put out. Then we did get a live album from the band. This is made in Europe, 1975. It only has 5 songs on it, and a total runtime though of 45 minutes. So this is the Deep Purple, that live stuff that you love. Just 9 minute songs, just a lot of jamming. There's just a few issues with that because this is not a complete show. It's only 5 songs. There's a lot of fading in and out of the tracks, and I'm not a big fan of that. I like to, if you could make cleaner cuts, make it sound like a show instead of just like a collection of songs that just happen to be live. I don't really like that fact at all. So, but that's made in Europe. So a takeoff of the made in Japan. Well, David left and then started his own solo stuff. And then I think it was 1977, we get his debut solo album called Whitesnake. And this album I have is a 2 LP set. So it has Whitesnake and it has his second album, North Winds, on it. So there's the North Winds cover, and then that's the Whitesnake cover, and there's the track listing for both albums, which you can't really see. Yeah, at the bottom. There's no inserts or anything. I'm sure this was like a reissue of, well, I forget when it was. But his debut solo album was a little all over the place, a lot of different styles. I think he was still trying to find what direction he wanted to go in, and discovering who he was as a songwriter and as a singer. The album it's a little understated and it just never really takes off. But there are some good songs on there. Blind Man's really good. Whitesnake, Peace Loving Man, which I think they hold up even today. So a pretty decent effort for your first solo act. And then in 1978 was North Winds. The songs are a definite step up from his solo album, first solo album. It's a major step in the right direction. Just it's a really enjoyable listen. Some of the album does sound a little dated. I mean, it was 1978, and but the writing improved, and Mickey Moody was now in the mix on this. So really, it was definitely a step up. So check out the songs Breakdown, Keep On Giving Me Love, and the North Winds title track. So all really good stuff. But that by the time he had finished North Winds, he was already working on a band, and that band was going to become Whitesnake. And the first thing that came out was this EP, the Snakebite, 1978, David Coverdale's Snakebite. So he had his name on there, or David Coverdale's Whitesnake. And it's good. It's an 8 song double EP. Uh, it's the copy I have is like a double EP, 4 songs from the original, and then 4 tracks from North Winds are on here as well. So it's kind of a double EP, and it does have. You can't really see it on that side. There's nothing, but on this side, we do have some writing and stuff, song lyrics and things like that. So that was the first thing that kind of came out, as with the White Snake starting to be the heading of the name as opposed to a title of an album. And in 1978, we get the first full length album for this album, Trouble. So, yes, great starting point. However, I do have a few issues. The guitar playing on this thing is sensational, but the guitar sound, there's just lyrics on both of that. The guitar sound, though, is a little weak. Um, there's no real standout tracks for me on this one uh, that I would consider like Whitesnake classics, but there are some good songs. I mean, the Belgian Tom's Hat Trick, which is an instrumental, I really like. Don't Mess with Me, Take Me With You, Nighthawk, Vampire Blues. There's only one song on here I would avoid completely, and that's their Beatles cover of Day Tripper. Did not like that one at all. I would definitely pass on that song. That album also had a couple different covers, and I have this cover as well with the snake. And I'm not sure which, they're both really, really great covers. I'm not sure which one I like best. I like the simpleness of this one and the white snake actually, and then a great band shot of that. So, and I love the fact it's still got that sticker. Actually, it's not a sticker. That's actually on the album cover. So, um, and then a great insert with the snake on there and the lyrics, and that's on both sides of that. So that is the album Trouble. And then they don't waste any time. They're putting out like an album a year. So the next one we get is Love Hunter, and I don't want to get any kind of strikes on this one. So there's a quick view of the album. Um, there's the back sides, and there's her back sides, and it has the insert as well. This was obviously a cutout because it's got the hole up here. Um, but so anyway, the follow up, I think David's starting to really come into his own with this one. He delivers the lyrics, he's got more control and bravado. And I think he really believes in what he's singing at this point. His confidence has grown, and that just passes, you can just pass it through the whole album and you notice that. The only negative is there's a few songs that just sound very dated, kind of thing. But there are some classic Whitesnake songs in here. Walking in the Shadow of the Blues, Mean Business, Long Way from Home, and Love Hunter, the title track. Bernie Marsden and Mickey Moody, guitar playing is incredible. John Lord's on the I mean, John Lord is the best when it comes to the organ, the Hammond and stuff like that. So love him. I always want a lot of him on those albums. So, all right, then 1980, keeping on rolling. We get Ready and Willing. This one again, they just keep getting better and better. Still have the insert, and then on the back, some more pictures there. Um, That's what you want. You want a band to keep getting better and better as they release each album. The only thing I think negative about it is it's missing some dual guitar solos between Marsden and Moody. I think that just adds so much to the songs and stuff. I wish there was more of that in there. And it didn't have a Bernie Marsden lead vocal, which I think, there were some on the other ones. But there are some essential Whitesnake songs on here, more so than the other albums. And you get the original version of Fool for Your Loving, which of course we get that on the 87 album. She's a Woman, which has a killer solo by John Lord. Then you get Ain't Gonna Cry No More, Sweet Talker, Ready and Willing, and my all-time favorite track, Blind Man. Just a killer album. Really great. That's one definitely I think you should check out if you get a chance. All right, then we have their first live album. We get Live in the City, in the Heart of the City. This one, there's two versions of this. This is a single disc version. This other one has a double version, but I don't need the double version because I'll explain that in just a second. So first, Live in the Heart of the City. Let's see, before we get there, do we have... Nope, just an Atlantic group, Mirage logo, no special lyric sheet or anything like that. Not that you would need one for a live album. That came out November 3rd. Let's see. It is a great live set. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's short and sweet and captures some really great moments. And the band they were really on fire. But if you get the double LP version, you get not only that disc, but the second disc is Live at Hammersmith. Now, I actually have the Japan. This was released in Japan. This is Whitesnake Live at Hammersmith. One of my favorite covers that they've ever had on anything. It's got the Obi strip. Just fantastic. What else is in here? I think there's something else in here. It has the stickers that it came with, which is awesome. And it has the lyric sheet, and it's in English and in Japanese. Well, this is all Japanese. And then the lyrics, though, are English and Japanese mixture. Um, and then here's the vinyl, which I have in my little sheet. But that was what would be on the 2 LP version of Live in the Heart of the City. That album would be this thing. Now, when I ordered that one online, the guy also sent me this little single. Have no idea what this is. Never listened to it. I just keep it stored with the album since that's how I got it. But the Live at Hammersmith, man, is a fantastic show. It's old school Whitesnake when they were just a straight up blues rock band. The Mick Moody and Bernie Marsden, they were, I mean, unmatched on this thing. And then you throw in John Lord, and you just can't go wrong. David Coverdale sounds fresh, yet got grittiness, has that bluesy style and everything. Just a fantastic little show to get there. So definitely check out that one. Then in 1981, we get Come and Get It, band's fourth album. I love the Class A, and then it's Gone, the Snake is Loose. Nothing worse. And then this has the same Atlantic group Mirage label on it. Um, so this one is, despite it's got really a kick-ass side one. Can't go wrong with anything on side one. Side two, though, was a little atrocious for me. And I say that harshly, but yeah, it's not my favorite. Yeah, it just hurt it. The three songs, I guess, that were really bad for me were Child of Babylon, cheesiness of Would I Like to You, Would I Lie to You? I'm sorry. I just got that all screwed up. Now I can't remember what the name of it is. Would I Lie to You? Sorry. And then Girl is just horrendous. It just might be the worst song I think they've ever done. Now, that being said, side one, amazing. Standouts, Wine, Women, and Song, Hot Stuff, Come and Get It, Don't Break My Heart Again is another killer song. Great blues sound on all these things. So just not as good as the early White Snake, I think, but still had a few good songs on there. Then in 1982, we get Saints and Sinners. Just David on the back there. No insert or anything on this one. I love how it still has the Super Saver series sticker on there, and it's still got in the cellophane and everything. Now, this time, 1982, the band still hadn't really caught on in the US. They were kind of starting to fall apart too. It seems yeah, they just really weren't in a good place. They still captured one of their best albums. The first side of this thing is top notch. Second side has like three really stellar songs. You also get the original version of Crying in the Rain and Here I Go Again, which they used on 87. But those aren't the only good songs on there. You got Blood Luxury, Saints and Sinners, Young Blood, Rough and Ready. There's really not much to skip. It's really a good album. A big fan of that one. So I think even though they were becoming a mess as a band, it's a solid effort. All right, and then around this time, I have a bootleg. So this is from Newcastle City Hall, December 14th, 1982. It's just called White Snake. This thing is on. It is a 3 LP bootleg. So 3 albums. There we go. A couple of the albums only have like 2 songs on one side because there's just they're jamming, they're going to town on this thing. Um, it's yeah, it is awesome. David Coverdale, Cozy Powell, John Lord, Mickey Moody, Mel Galley, and Colin Hickson, Hodgkinson on bass. So yeah, really awesome thing. And it says see them on tour. It gives tour dates. Um, but yeah, I'm assuming this is just a bootleg. Because on the title of the things it says the Cozy Powell Band on the label of the album with the White Snake on there. Can you see that? There we go. There it was. All right. Well, it was there. I promise you it's there. Having trouble with that. All right. Then in 1982, there is a French release called The Best of Whitesnake. Um, so this covers the album's Trouble all the way up to 1981's Come and Get It, um, and includes, I think, a live song or so on here as well. They're all great tracks, and it's as good as the greatest hit's going to be this time. But it's really, really awesome to get a French copy over here in the States. Just found it out in the wild. Really great. All right, then we get to where I came to know Whitesnake, which still is probably my all-time favorite album, and that is all-time favorite Whitesnake album, and that is Slide It In from 1984. It is as perfect can be. An incredible album cover, just fantastic. Love that. I've still got the insert on here. Uh, this album, there is nothing wrong with that album. Now, yes, side one is stronger than side two. But side two is fantastic. They found their groove despite all the turmoil within the band. And there are two versions of this album. There is a UK mix, and then when they brought in the new guitarist, what was his name? What was his name? I kind of drawn a complete and utterly blank. John Sykes. Yeah, John Sykes. When John Sykes got in the band, they did a different mix of the album for the States. And for me, I prefer the US mix because that's what I grew up with. I didn't hear the UK mix until a lot longer afterwards. So there is nothing I delete. It's all perfection. Love Ain't No Stranger, Slide It In, and the badass song, Slow and Easy. Best three opening tracks maybe on any album. But then you have Standing in the Shadows, Spit It Out. Can't get much more sleazy than that. As well as The Gambler and Guilty of Love. Just all great stuff. Really, really enjoy it. Then I have a couple. Let's see if I can get these things out. Here we go. Or I have one anyway. Did I miss it? I missed it. I should be more prepared for this stuff. You would think I would be. All right, I got a couple bootlegs, and this one's from 1984, Spokane and Glasgow broadcast. It's Whitesnake, Washington State Wipeout. Um, and there's a great gatefold there. It's a really cool set. It's a full show on the first disc out of Spokane, and bits of a Glasgow show on the other album. There's a couple repeats because of the two different shows, but I mean that's okay. The sound is great because it's a broadcast, so you really get a good sound on it. It is still strange hearing "Fool for Your Lovin'" the old way. And what was really weird is that song was a little bit muddied. All the other songs sounded great, but that one kind of didn't sound as good. Um, so there was nothing wrong with the shows really, except for that. David sounds great. John Sykes is fresh in the band, and the one in Glasgow has John Lord on it, which the other one does not. Um, so that's that release. And I forgot I had them at the end, but I'll go back and do this one. This is a Whitesnake from Nagoya in 1980, a Japanese broadcast. I forgot all about this one. Um, and it's obviously the same company as that last one. Nothing in here as far as inserts. Another really great show. Um, you get, I mean, it looks like a full show. Whitesnake Boogie is on here. John Lord's got a solo. Mickey Moody's got a solo. Ian Pace has a solo. Whereas yeah, everybody seems to have a solo. Just some really great songs. Walking in the Shadow of the Blues, Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, Mistreated with Soldier of Fortune. So it's a good bootleg. I like that one. All right, then we have this single, 12-inch single for Give Me More Time. Um, try it. This is A sides taken from the Slide It In. B side only available as the bonus track on the cassette. Never Your Love So Need Your Love So Bad. Produced by Martin Birch. It's just solid black Liberty label, 45 RPM, 12-inch. So really nice to have. I forget where I found that. I might have found that in Paris, but I can't remember exactly. Uh, Very, very possible. All right. Then we have the album that really broke the band, Whitesnake. Hugh Syme does the cover, and then all the covers after this pretty much look alike. There's that, and then on the flip side is the lyric sheet. Well, I mean, what can you say about the 1987 album? I mean, this was huge. MTV played it to death, and I mean, it. This kind of made him a star. Slide It In kind of got them in the door and they became famous, but they blew up to a different stratosphere with this album. They had John Sykes was gone from the band already, but he did the album. So it's like you've got all the videos or all these other players, then they didn't play on the album because he pretty much fired the whole band afterwards. It was a whole mess, and I'm not here for that kind of talk. So but John Sykes is all over this album. He's phenomenal. It is a shame that they ended at this point. It would have been nice to see what they could have done further on. Still of the Night, Is This Love, Bad Boys, Here I Go Again, Crying in the Rain. It is just one hellaciously great song after another. I mean, I don't know what else I can say. It's just fantastic. And then I do have a 12-inch single for that one. This Is This Love? We get side one is the LP version, and side two is the edit. So there are no extended remixes or anything, thank goodness. And it's just a 12-inch single. And there's the band that's not on the album. Um, Not entirely. Anyway, I also have this bootleg. It's simply titled Snake, Still of the Night. And that's the flip side. This was recorded in Battle Creek, Michigan, July 26th, 1987. I don't believe it's a full show. Says promotional use, not for sale. I really don't believe that. It is just a solid bootleg. I gotta remember I got this in Atlanta when I was down there um, shopping. So, all right. Then in 1987, I found a Greek release. And it's another greatest hits album. And this is called Best. That's all it is. Um, it's not necessarily a compilation I would put together, but maybe the Greeks really like this songs. It's a really cool piece to have in the collection. There's no insert or anything. Um, it's just they included Day Tripper, and I've already told you earlier that that's like the worst song. It's just a horrible cover. Um, I don't know why you'd pick a cover when they could have picked Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City. Not on here. You do get Still in the Night, Don't Break My Heart Again, Blind Man, Guilty of Love, Fool for Your Lovin', Here I Go Again. But oh, it does have Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City. All right, I was wrong. It does have that one. But still, Day Tripper. They could have picked some other stuff instead of that one. Not a big fan of that one. All right, now the lineup changes yet again. For the next album in 1989, we get Slip of the Tongue. And this now has Steve Vai, no more Adrian Vandenberg, um, which is okay. Well, Adrian Vandenberg's still in it. Sorry. I was thinking that he had left by this one, but no, he hadn't left yet. Tommy Aldridge, Rudy Sarzo. But yeah, they get further away from the real bluesy stuff. Still has the insert and then the lyrics on the flip. Uh, this is a really overproduced, slick album. Um, Steve Vai's guitar playing is nothing like anything else that's been played in Whitesnake. Uh, but there are a lot of great songs. I do really love this album, so don't get me wrong. Sailing Ships is the one that closes the album out. Might be one of my favorite all-time Whitesnake songs as well. Judgment Day is awesome. Slip of the Tongue, Now You're Gone, Deeper the Love, and you get the reimagined version of Fool for Your Loving. Um, so yeah, you can't go wrong with it. A lot of great songs, so worth checking out. Now that was it for Whitesnake. They kind of, I don't know if they'd say they broke up or what, but they were kind of done. I think there were money issues and everything, and David had just had enough. So, but The funny thing is, David Coverdale always got commented that he sounded like Robert Plant and tried to steal Robert Plant. And then, that's fine and dandy. So he worked with Jimmy Page, and they came up with Coverdale Page, and this was 1993. Now, my copy, I will admit, it's a bootleg, it's not a bootleg, sorry. It is a counterfeit. It is not the original album. Those are so hard to come by. I would love to have an original, but I just haven't gotten one. For me, this thing, a match made in heaven. They were phenomenal. Now Plant and Page got together after this, and I wonder if it's because this album was so good that it maybe pissed off Robert Plant. I don't know. Still, great stuff. Shake My Tree, Take Me for a Little While, Pride and Joy, Absolution Blues, Whisper a Prayer for the Dying, and Feeling Hot. It's just, I mean, just Jimmy Page's guitar is just all over this thing, and you throw in David's bluesiness, and it's really incredible. And so when I think I was in Paris for this one too, I found this 12-inch picture disc of David, and so there's the flip side of it. There's a poster also included in this. I'm not going to pull it out, but this has Take Me for a Little While, LP version, an acoustic version of that. And then you flip it over, and it's got a remix of Shake My Tree. It's called the Guitar Crunch Mix, and then Easy Does It. So you get a 4-track EP, and it's a picture disc. Again, that one I'm pretty much 100% sure I found that one in Paris at a little place called Voltage or Rock Voltage or something like that. Anyway, then David Coverdale did a song for the Days of Thunder soundtrack, and that was the last note of freedom. So there's Tom Cruise on it. There's the back. It's not a picture disc, just a regular, nothing special on it. The A side of is Last Note of Freedom, produced by Trevor Horn. Then the B side had Terry Reid, Gimme Some Lovin', and Hans Zimmer, Car Building. So I just thought this was really cool to see. And it had David Coverdale on it. So easy enough for me to buy. And that is all studio albums that I have on vinyl. Restless Heart came out in 97. You have his solo album, Into the Light. Good to Be Bad in 2008. Forevermore in 2011. Purple in 15. The Purple Live album. You have Flesh and Blood in 19. And then he started doing a lot of remix albums. And I actually bought those. The first one is the Rock album. So this came out in 2020, I believe. And it's just remixes of, here's all the albums I guess they touch on or do. It's just, they're the rock songs. That's really, really cool. So we get a white version on one disc, or this is the white album. And then, yeah, so both of them are white. Um, so not an issue that. And that's that one. Then the second one in this trilogy that he was doing, you have the rock album, then you have love songs. So, and then again, the same look on the inside. And then believe it or not, they're on red. So why not match? So you got a white for the rock, a red for the love. And then the final one is the Whitesnake Blues album. Um, a little different. They put all the albums up and down on this one. Um, and then, of course, the blues album naturally is on blue vinyl. So, and that is it. Now, I'm not a big fan of remixes. I'm sorry. What is the freaking point? I'm sorry, David. You put out your box sets, you have a remix disc, and you have a remastered full album. I don't ever listen to the remixed. I don't want to listen to the remix. A remastered original album, that's what I want. Now, your evolution and all those things, we've talked about that. Those are fantastic, the bonus tracks and everything. But, these, if you're not a fan of Whitesnake, you're not going to tell the difference between these and the original. So these might be great for you to get a rock album, a love songs, and the blues. Now, the love songs one is probably the one that's the hardest to sit through because it's really all ballads kind of stuff. So it does, to me, get a little bit boring. But the rock album is really good. There are a couple album songs on there I'm not sure I'd pick. The best one's the blues album. I think that one's my favorite. And again, he's tweaked things here and there, and they're not that noticeable. But just give me the original song. I don't want remixes, which is kind of why I stopped buying a lot of this stuff because he's been putting out some vinyl of his older albums or newer albums with these remix versions on there from when he does the box set. I don't know. I just want the original album again. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I'm not really into the remix. But he's fun in his retirement very well, and seems to be enjoying his time away, posting pictures of his cats and stuff. So all good. I love Coverdale. I'm just not a big fan of the remix stuff. So that's my only complaint. Outside of that, everything's phenomenal. So that's it. That is all I have on vinyl. Now, again, we didn't go through everything. So maybe I'll do a full CD set one time and go through all the CDs. I did all the box sets, so I've covered a lot of the stuff already. But we'll see. One day, maybe. I'm not sure when. But that's all I have for you on the vinyl stuff for David Coverdale. Hope you enjoyed it. Click like, hit subscribe. Tell me the things you have that I don't. And that's it. We'll see you next time on the collection.